Hey, you guys are connected.
Hey, Wayne.
All right, hello. All right.
Can you hear me?
I can indeed, yeah.
Perfect. Well, I guess just to start, this week we had a serious tragedy in Florida, and I didn't know what your thoughts were the last couple days since that shooting that happened at that high school. If that's something you've been thinking about, especially in terms of your own personal experience as a teenager with gun violence.
Yeah, I mean, it was, as we were all in the studio this morning, you get jacked up on your Starbucks and you can't help but, this frustration or this, whatever it is, you kind of, I think we've all gone through it seems like a year now that we've all said, someone should do something, and nobody wants to stand up and change anything, and we realize there's two freedoms that are battling each other here. The freedom to be as insane as you want, that's a freedom that Americans, fight for, and the freedoms to have your guns. And this parallel between the two, saying, hey, you have no right to stop me from being insane. If I want to be insane, that's my right. You're like, okay, that is your right.
Yeah.
And you can't stop me from having my guns. Fuck you, I can have them. But this idea that these insane people can so easily get these guns is where we're running into the dilemma.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the dilemma of policing people's minds, we're never going to be able to do that. We're never going to have a test that says, oh, you're insane, you can't buy a gun, and you're not insane, you can have one. And so we just, I always say this as a joke, but when I ride around the planet with aliens and we watch from outer space, it looks like the gun laws in America are getting, less and less. There's more and more people have guns, more and more people are getting shot. And instead of it, the reality is we know the gun laws are part of everybody's consciousness every second of the day. And yet there's more insane people getting a hold of these guns, those types of machine guns too, that can kill 20 people in a second.
Yeah.
I'd be the first one to stand and say, fuck everybody. I don't want these guns out there, and I'm going to do everything I can to stop it.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, I'm sorry. This isn't a freedom that we need to debate anymore. The worst nightmare that could have ever happened because of these stupid gun laws we have is happening. It's already happening. There's nothing to fear. It's all here now.
Yeah.
But don't fear the future. It's as bad as it could be. So, yeah, you can get very upset about it.
Well, especially with yourself. You had a personal experience with gun violence as a teenager. How much did that affect you in your outlook immediately following that, in terms of how you... Well,
I think the way that it happened to me is exactly the type of thing that we can't police. The people that robbed the restaurant that I was working at were gangster thugs who wanted this money. And they I don't think they were insane, and I don't think they were, out for revenge. I think they were just desperate criminals that would have obviously have killed someone if they had to.
Yeah.
But these desperate gangster criminals aren't the people that are going to our schools and killing kids.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
Those
exactly.
gangster criminals are always going to be able to get guns, even if they're illegal. But these weird, revengeful, insane people, they're getting the guns too easily too. And so the gangsters, that's not news because they want to shoot each other, and they're all involved in doing illegal things, so gangsters get shot. That's not news. But when innocent kids get shot, that's news, and we should stop that. And so to me, exactly what happened to me is where their confusion comes in. It's like the people that robbed me at Long John Silver's, hopefully they got caught and they got put in jail or whatever, but they were gangster thugs robbing people.
Yeah, it was more like a randomness than an intent.
Well, I think these are the hardcore criminals that will always get guns no matter what.
Yeah.
but the guy that gets the gun in Florida, he's not a criminal. He's just a weirdo. He's clearly gone insane, and he can go get a gun. Yeah. And that's, and so my experience with it is, it's nothing compared to what's going on today. I mean, I didn't walk away thinking I should own a gun or thinking those people shouldn't have a gun. I walked away thinking, man, it's a rude awakening that this is kind of happening, to people every day, and you're just lucky it doesn't happen to you, but when it does happen to you, it's kind of a life-changing, you see how much chaos there is in the world. I mean, it really takes away all the comforts and all your stability for a moment. Yeah. I'd say for about 6 months or so, I was sort of very scared of a lot of things, but then I came back down to normal, and which is what you have to do. Yeah. Otherwise, you just live in fear and panic. Yeah.
Well, for someone, that's what you were saying. Sorry.
I mean, I think it's just a struggle because everybody, feels like the way that we get the news now, because we've read the news and because we've talked about the news, we feel like we've done something, and it's impossible to sit. I mean, I'm not sure where you're calling from. Where are you at?
Asheville, North Carolina.
There you go. I mean, even you. I mean, you're much closer to it than I am, but we're all away from it. Here I am in Oklahoma, and you're in North Carolina, and we're trying to do something about this thing that happened in Florida, which we are not going to be able to do anything about. This is a localized. This thing happened to them.
Yeah.
And we're saying we need to change something in the universe where really they'll change something, I'm sure, at that school. That will never happen there again, the same way it probably will never happen in Columbine. And we had the Oklahoma City bombing here in 1995. And if you see that building now, that'll never happen there again because they've changed it. But they didn't change the world. They just changed that building, And so, it's such a fucked up thing that we get to hear about all this news, and we really, and part of us is helpless to do anything about it because it's just not in our backyard. It's not people that we know. It's not in our community, And we all have the power. I think we all have a lot of power to change our own community, our own little world, but when we all try to reach out in this abstract kind of way, it's very frustrating.
Do you look at it as like nothing's the same, everything's the same in terms of these issues, or are there different elements at play that you see?
Well, I think everybody is afraid to be on the wrong side of being politically correct and whatever is cool, Nobody wants to say anything. So everybody lets it all, whatever is happening, like, well, I don't want to say people are insane because that's insensitive, and I don't want to take people's guns away because that's insensitive. And it's like, well, I can tell you for sure, we don't want and shouldn't allow insane people to go out and get guns and kill us.
Yeah.
If we allow that to happen, it's going to happen. It keeps happening, So without knowing the specific laws of where this happened, the specific way it happened, all the little details of what happened, which is what everybody will argue about, which is all we can do. All we can do is argue about the big overriding things that we think are true about it. And I think it's something like that.
Yeah.
We don't have an ability to judge if people are really insane or not. I think we've proven time and time again we can't really prove that. But we do know what a machine gun is, and we can make that very difficult and illegal to get, and have there be consequences to selling them and buying them and all that. We can do that. Well, so I would say let's do something about the gun laws since we can't do anything about the insanity laws.
Well, for someone like yourself who is well known for promoting love and compassion on stage and just in your own personality, how do you make sense of where we are as a country right now with all the issues that are at play?
Well, thank you for saying that. I mean, that's wonderful that comes across. I don't think there's any shortage of love, and I don't think there's any shortage of compassion. I really don't. I mean, I think all that is probably powerfully overriding all these dilemmas. I think that's why we all get so incensed about it. We're so frustrated. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think that's the peril. The peril is that we're all aware of this stuff, and yet we all feel kind of helpless to it. And to me, that's where the frustration is. I can't imagine the frustration.
Yeah.
If those were your kids and you sent them off to school and then they get killed. I mean, that's the thing I think we're all trying to say, yeah, as a community, as a country, as an entity in the world, we have to do, something has to change with that, or those are all of our kids,
Are you optimistic?
I'm pretty,
as you were saying, sorry.
Yeah, I think we're very optimistic, but the optimism is only because we're going to do something. If you're not optimistic, it doesn't get you. You don't do anything. And if you're optimistic, that's great. But usually, the optimism means okay, you have to do something about it. You can't just dream. You can't just think, and you obviously can't just talk on the internet, which a lot of people will equate with doing something. It's like that's not doing anything. And a lot of times I think people even work against themselves by making jokes about something. Sometimes people make jokes about something and you can't tell it's a joke, and it looks like you can't tell whether they're for something or against something. Yeah. I think something like Donald Trump, I'm trying to take Obama's stance on it and not even mention his name and not even consider anything that will elevate him. Yeah. As a personality, or as and every time someone makes fun of him, all they're telling me is you want him to be reelected. If you post something about him, you want him to be reelected. That's all it's saying. It doesn't matter what you say about him. There's nothing you could say about him that's going to stop that. By talking about him, you're heightening his profile. You're making him important,
and that's what he wants ultimately. And
it's working. Yeah. And if you think he's dumb, then tell the world how dumb you think he is, and you'll see how smart he is.
Well, when you kind of see